Hi, my name is Becca Nevius, and I'm here with some art from my new book, God is Stronger Than a Digger. And I realized I haven't shared a lot of that with you, and I wanted to take this opportunity to do it now. The art in God is Stronger Than a Digger is very different from God is Bigger Than a Juice Box. It's smaller lines and more detailed, and there's a few more words. I kind of wanted to grow my books with my kids a little bit. They're a year and a half older now than my last book. And so what I do in my process is I line draw everything out. I draw it. There's something about, some people just do it right onto an iPad. Like they just use an iPad pen and they draw their art right onto it. I struggle with that. I like the feel of my marker on paper. I also like the challenge of not messing up. So as you'll see though, this is an original that I've copied and pasted together. So I didn't have any like special art supplies or anything like that. I literally took a pencil and just started drawing. So this is my machine, God is Stronger Than a Heavy Lifter Machine page. And it's one of my favorite because of all the details. I had a lot of fun drawing this. And once I drew this, I scanned it in to my iPad and I did the artwork, like the coloring, with my iPad pen, and I was able to use lots of different tools to make it look like that. So I just wanted to read this one to you because it's one of my favorite pages. It says, a super heavy lifter machine can lift the heaviest box on earth. That's strong, but God is stronger than a super heavy lifter machine. And all the pages are like that, where they talk about one thing that most of these things my kids came up with, like, hey buddy, what do you think is super strong? And then we would conceptualize it, draw it out, and then compare it to God, and God is always stronger. So that's the first one, and let's try the second one. This next one I thought of because this field actually is very British. I did that because I have some nephew and two nieces who live in Northern Ireland, and I thought it would be fun to show a British countryside. And my kids are really afraid of thunder and lightning, so I thought a storm would be a really good one to talk about. And a lot of times when we click on the news, our kids see different storms like tornadoes and things like that, and I wanted them to be reminded that God's stronger than a storm. So that one I scanned in, and here's what it looks like now. So I did a lot of watercolor on this one, and I like to put the words in the clouds because it's a little bit more interesting. This font has actually changed. If you've ever written a book, you know that you start with one idea and then it really morphs. So the stronger, I don't know if you can see it, that stronger font's changed. But so a mega storm makes a mega strong thunder and lightning, but God is stronger than a mega storm. And mega storm was my son Noah's idea, because it couldn't just be a storm. It was like mega storm, and I guess that's really a thing, a mega storm. Okay, so next I want to show you. This is one of the more imaginary ones. So alien, I don't know, maybe they're real, but right now they're imaginary. And you know, the one thing with kids that I've noticed is their imagination, the line between reality and imagination is very thin, if non-existent. And so I wanted to bring God into their imagination as well. Like, even if you could imagine something stronger than anything, like a crazy, giant, cool alien spaceship that's bigger than this moon over here, God's still stronger than that. So this is the line drawing. This one took a lot. If you look close, which you probably can't, but there's so many eraser marks. And what took me the longest actually were all these little rivets that were in here. So, but that's necessary if you're traveling through space. You need a lot of these. So let me show you the finished product of that one. And I added in some more moons too. I'm sorry you can't really see the alien. There he is. He's waving. He's a nice alien. We didn't want to scare anybody. This one is, an alien spaceship can travel a gazillion miles a second. That's strong. But God is stronger than an alien spaceship. All right, and next, this is a tree. We have a giant tree out front in our yard, and we look at it. I sit out there and look at it with my kids a lot. And there's actually a story of a tree where it's like over 1,000 years old, maybe 2,000 years old, and it's somehow there's like cement below it, and it's like the roots have gone through the cement, and it's just such a beautiful picture of strength. But God's stronger than that. He can get through the hardest things, whether it's in our heart or a circumstance that seems just really impossible. He can plow through that. He's strong. So I had to put a tree in there. Also, again, there's so many erase marks in here. This one turned out pretty fun. I've actually adjusted this tree and added some more branches, and I have a couple weeks. I'm thinking about adding a couple critters, but it says a tree can stand for 1,000 years. That's strong, but God is stronger than a tree. And the cool thing about trees, it's kind of boring, but for your kids, they see trees all the time. So I wanted to include objects that can spark conversation with your kids. Oh, there's another one. Oh, that one's so big. And God's stronger than that. Can you think of anything else that he's just really stronger than? So that's been one of my favorites as well. Now this one has changed a lot. There's a lot of erase marks on here. This one I envision as Goliath. That's my favorite, my kid's favorite story from the Bible. So, and such a great example of how God is stronger than any kind of bully. And bullies are more what our kids deal with. So they're not necessarily going to face a 9-foot giant on the plains, but they might face what feels like a 9-foot giant on the playground. So I wanted to include that. And we've also, on this page, because it's a Bible story also, we've talked about how David relied on God's strength to defeat Goliath. Whew, I'm losing my voice. So this one, I added a bunch of leg hair. See how his legs are nice and smooth? I made them really gnarly. Now, this has actually changed, so I'm not going to read it to you because it's the text has changed. But basically, God is stronger than a bully is the gist of this one. But there's a little hair on his legs. That's my favorite part. And then his belt. I tried out a lot of detail on there, which they like. Kids like the little details and the colors and stuff. So, all right. So I have one more to show you. This one's pretty funny, actually. This picture's not good, but I've changed it. But you have to start with something. Some people ask me, oh, how did you draw that? I never really thought I was capable of drawing very well. Like, I've done big murals and stuff for people and with paint, but that was just different than drawing. I've never seen myself as that kind of artist. But anyway, I've learned if I start with something, just something, and change it over and over and over again, it gets to where I want it to be. So I wanted to start with something small at the beginning of the book. So this is, I think, the first page. And I had him holding 5,000 pounds because ants are crazy strong. They're like, I'm going to get messages on this, but I think they're like one of the strongest things on earth. I know that sounds crazy, but as far as like their weight goes, someone tell me if that's true. I did look it up at one point. These guys are crazy strong. And instead of weights, I thought it'd be funny because it can hold like 50 times its own weight, which imagine that. Imagine carrying 50 people like on your head. That's basically what they're able to do. So this is what I started with. The lines were too thick. It was more like God is bigger than the juice box. And I wanted it to fit with the rest of the book. So I made it thinner and have him carrying all his friends. Some of his friends look a little confused. Which, you know, we would too if someone was carrying us. Anyway, so this is, an ant is very, very strong. It can carry 50 times its own weight, but God is stronger than an ant. So, and he, you know, he looks pretty proud of himself. Yeah. So that's a little bit of my process. Now, I've put a lot of work into this, and I'm really just hoping that you guys can get behind me and see the vision behind it, and just the importance of letting our kids know how strong God is. And not only that, but he loves them with a strong love. And the book ends with a giant volcano. An erupting volcano is so strong, it's even hard to measure. Like, they can't really measure it. But God is stronger than a volcano. I did that because my son just absolutely loves volcanoes. And it ends with, and our strong God loves us with a love so strong. So there's a lot of adjectives here. So very super duper, mega crazy, extremely, immeasurably strong. It could plug a volcano. And that's the final page. And again, some of this font is going to be changing. So, and of course, I'll save the digger. It'll be a surprise. Some of you have seen the cover. But, and then this is, I always, with God is Stronger Than a Juice Box, I have one where they're all at the end. And my kids love this because it's almost like a look and find. You have to find the ant and find all the things that we've talked about up until this point. And God's stronger than anything. So, this book is not printed yet. So the only way that it can get printed is through my Kickstarter campaign, which if you look on, if you're on Instagram, look in my bio and you'll click the link. If it's on Facebook, go ahead on my page, you'll see it, and I'll also attach it to this video. So if you're unfamiliar with Kickstarter, basically everybody contributes towards a project and that makes it happen. So if nobody contributes, this project will basically just stay on my table in these drawings or in my computer. So we want to get it off my computer and into a bunch of little kids' hands. It's going to be made from super, super strong cardboard, board book, and it's like this. It's this size. This is my first book. It's this size. It has rounded edges for safety, same bright colors. It's going to be great, but we need you. If you've thought about, hey, I'd really like that book, but I'm not sure if I want to do Kickstarter, just go ahead and click the link because without you, it can't be printed. So thanks for, if you watched till the end, like, way to go. This was a long one, and I appreciate every one of you. All right, go to Kickstarter and support our project. God is stronger than a digger, and He is.